With every new content drop comes new weapons, and new weapons usually means new shotguns as well. At this point in Destiny lifecycle, Bungie has given players many options to use for their various loadouts. We play in a game where your favorite shotgun might be someone else's most hated, where someone may think Lord of Wolves is broken and someone else may argue that it's perfectly fine. I think many of us in the community have always asked some form of question that revolves around what is the best weapon, or is this weapon better than the other one? Hey, what's up guys, Frosty.
Does no man.
Here, and today I created a list of the top 10 shotguns for Crucible. Keep in mind, this is just my opinion and based off my experience and what I see players use the most on PC and console. If you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more of this kind of content, let me know with a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Anyways, let's get started. Coming in at the number 10 spot is going to be Canora's Axe. This slug shotgun has gained a lot of popularity with its return to Iron Banner. With its ability to roll many different perks that complement the weapon's archetype, this shotgun makes its way on the list due to the fact that it's a legendary Chaperone in your energy slot, not to mention you have many primary options to pair it with. Next up, we have a shotgun that was believed to become insanely present in the meta due to its high impact archetype, but once players found out that you cannot get this to drop with quick draw or snapshot, it was slowly forgotten. Thankfully, players were able to find use in this weapon due to its newly introduced perk known as 1-2 punch. It was the first time a shotgun was given the ability to shut down a super with a shotgun melee combo. For that reason, it was able to make it on this list, but not higher, obviously because you can't get high handling perks on a high impact shotgun. At first, I was a bit hesitant to include this weapon, but I figured you would agree that we had to give some love to at least one of the two shotguns in your power weapon slot, and that weapon is Tractor Cannon. If you played Destiny 2 in its early days, you'll remember the fun moments with this weapon when you used to send players flying across the screen. It was known as the meme cannon. While I do miss those moments, I can't say I'm dissatisfied in its current state. With its ability to shut down supers consistently and increase in movement speed whenever you get a kill, Tractor Cannon easily gets a number 8 spot on this list. Due to it being an exotic in your power slot, it won't be ranked any higher. Just like Last Man Standing, Parcel of Stardust has its own activity you had to play if you wanted a chance to get it to drop. In its early introduction, this shotgun wasn't the easiest to get, and that made it even more difficult to get a decently rolled version of it. So for those reasons, Parcel passed a lot of its time being underrated until Bungie introduced a Menagerie, an activity that would grant players the ability to grind as many different versions of that shotgun as they wanted. That basically means we were able to grind for the perfect roll we wanted. It is a lightweight frame archetype, so it could be pretty inconsistent when it comes to one-shot kills, but it makes up for it with some amazing handling speed and great perk options. While we're on the topic of the Menagerie, let's talk about the newest shotgun added to the game that specifically comes from the Menagerie activity. That shotgun is Imperial Decree. Remember how we talked about the Last Man Standing and how it couldn't roll with quick draw or snapshot? Well, this weapon can roll with one of those perks to counter its slow handling speeds. You can grind for many different perks to make it a monster in PvP. There were like two things I disliked about this weapon that didn't allow it to be any higher than number 6 on the list, and those reasons are its base ornament and its inconsistency. The base ornament on this shotgun basically gives you no sight, so majority of the time I have no idea where I'm aiming, which can be pretty detrimental given that you want to make sure all your shotgun pellets hit your target. You can kind of fix that issue with a reverse ornament, and I can say that because I have it and I can tell you it makes a huge difference. Although many players won't be fond of the fact that you need to get an ornament to make it better. It's a great kinetic weapon option, but not the best. Speaking of the best, next up we have the one shotgun that has turned Crucible into a nightmare for many players. That weapon is Lord of Wolves. Now I know what you're thinking, Frost, if it's the best shotgun in the game, then why is it number 5? Look, we already know Bungie's gonna nerf this monstrosity, so based off how good it used to be, I'm making a prediction here. I don't think the weapon will be destroyed. I actually think it will remain a decent option to use for PvP. Even before it got a buff, I personally thought Lord of Wolves was pretty good. At the time of this recording, I don't know what the state of Lord of Wolves will be after the nerf, but I hope we don't have to look back at this list and say we should have just ranked it at number 1. The opposite version of Lord of Wolves, a weapon that is a burst fire in your energy slot, would be a kinetic shotgun that focuses on precision shots. That shotgun is none other than the best slug shotgun in the game, Chaperone. This weapon has won the hearts of many players due to its very satisfying skill gap. You're going to have to hit a headshot if you want to kill enemy guardians with this thing. Now, many of the top tier players would argue that it isn't hard to do that thanks to its very forgiving hitbox, especially once you have the exotic perk proc. I would still say this thing is one of the most fun and satisfying weapons to slay with. With its ability to basically snipe players, it becomes one of the most meta weapons when paired with the Spectral Blade's perk, True Sight. Personally, I'm not a fan of weapons that tend to make me use them as primary, so for that reason, I'm ranking Chaperone at number 4. Alright, we are finally at the top 3 best shotguns for Crucible. At this point, these weapons won't be too far from each other in regards to how good they are, but more on the weapons you can pair them with. Ranked at number 3 is going to be Retail Tell. This shotgun was introduced with Forsaken, and much like Parcel of Stardust, its popularity wasn't anything crazy because grinding for it wasn't easy. You had to get lucky for it to draw from powerful bounties, and even more lucky to get the right perks. Thanks to the Menagerie, more players had access to this weapon. It is a precision frame archetype, and for the longest time, players longed for more shotguns with this archetype. They had the most range and a very high impact. With those two stats combined, you would end up with a really consistent shotgun that would kill guardians from far distances. Personally, I like this shotgun better than the next one because you can pair it with a bunch of great primaries like Ace of Spades and Ostranger. And the shotgun I am talking about is Dust Rock Blues. This has been one of the most, if not the most popular shotgun in players' builds. Console players would agree the majority of the PvPers basically have this shotgun permanently glued in their kinetic slot. It shares a lot of the same things I mentioned about Retail Tell, but the one thing that makes it superior is its ability to be paired with Luna's Howls and Not Forgotten. Even with the nerf to these hand cannons, players stick with Not Forgotten thanks to its stability and lower bloom feeling versus other hand cannons. Even though you can roll Quick Draw on Dust Rock, you have a very high handling speed stat and Snapshot. Snapshot pairs amazingly well with Slide Shot to give you even more consistent long range kills. If it wasn't for the changes to shotgun range, RPM, and full choke, Retail Tell and Dust Rock Blues would be fighting for the number 1 spot. The best and my favorite shotgun for Crucible is none other than Mindbender's Ambition. Aside from its amazing design and hive symbols that light up after kills, this thing hits players hard. I find Mindbenders to one-shot kill guardians more consistently than any other on this list. A lot of that can be thanks to the perks they can roll with. You just have so many great options like Quick Draw and Slide Shot or Snapshot and Rampage. Even the curated roll with Opening Shot can put in some work if paired with the right exotics like Dragon Shadow and Ophidian Aspect. My perfect roll of this weapon would at the very least have Slide Shot and Quick Draw. Slide Shot would be there to increase the range and make it more consistent, while Quick Draw would be there to increase its handling speed. Quick Draw can give you a small snapshot feeling as well, but it won't be as fast as Snapshot perk itself. I just love being able to have the shotgun in the back and immediately switch out to it if someone decides to push me unexpectedly. It has never really let me down even against tough opponents that tend to play extremely well against shotguns. Unfortunately, this weapon cannot be obtained through the Menagerie, but at the very least, you can grind for it in the Hollow Lair Nightfall. All you have to do is grind for the 100k score, and then you can speedrun the next runs. It might be a little bit more difficult and grindy to obtain compared to the 2 previous shotguns I mentioned, but it's definitely worth it, especially if I compare this with some of my favorite hand cannons like Warden's Knot and Thorn. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think and where you would rank these shotguns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.